Hey guys, welcome. Welcome back, welcome aboard, welcome home. As always, completely and totally dependent on where you happen to be in relation to these messages this week, this channel, all of the above, right? This is what's up for the week of Monday, May the 15th through Sunday, the 21st, 2023. Let's jump in. So on Monday, we begin the day with the moon moving into Aries. And not long after, not long after that, Aries moon is going to sextile Pluto in Aquarius. Still in the morning, Mars in Cancer will trine Neptune in Pisces, and then around dinner time, the moon will square Venus, also in Cancer. This is a day where aligned movement is imperative, right? Mind your impulses, not to devalue them, but to take the time to explore them, right? Adopt this kind of stop, breathe, and feel space before you do or take action. So keep all of your honed instincts, right, moving you surely and truly, right, in that sure motion and in that true north kind of motion, toward what feels like home to you. And as always, we want to make sure that when we're talking about home, we're talking about what home sounds like for you, what it looks like for you, what it smells like, what it tastes like, right? And those are things that only you can know. You can't be told them, you cannot learn them. The way that your parents or your community or your anything experiences that sense of home is not necessarily how it feels or is experienced for you. So always moving toward your experience of home. On Tuesday, the 16th, the Aries moon conjuncts Chiron, and then Jupiter moves into Taurus at 12:20 p.m. Central Time. So here's the deal. The awareness of kind of your own tendencies and your willingness to call yourself on your own bullshit is really going to make, and I want to say make or break, but in all honesty, we can't break our own progress, right? So your willingness to call yourself on your bullshit is going to make the difference in your progress and your evolution, right? So as the moon conjuncts Chiron, your triggers might really be firing. So be aware and be ready to manage them, right, to the best of your capacity. And you know, we're always in pursuit of widening our capacity and strengthening the depth of our ability to manage our triggers. Once Jupiter moves into Taurus, that is really going to illuminate the places where you're reluctant or standing in your own stubbornness. So the thing is, if you wish to be in growth and evolution, and not everyone does, right? Not everybody has the goal of, I want to grow, I want to evolve. But if you do, keep referring to your new story, right? While still being in mind that that new story has room for expansion and learning. On Wednesday, the 17th, the moon in Aries is going to square Mars. And then the moon is going to move into Taurus. How exciting, right? Because it's still Taurus season on Wednesday. And then the moon in Taurus will conjunct Jupiter in Taurus, square retrograding Pluto in Aquarius, and then conjunct retrograding Mercury, and then sextile Saturn in Pisces before Jupiter, newly in Taurus, is going to square retrograding Pluto also. So here's the deal. Pay attention to your dream time, because it might give you some insights into those places that you are, in fact, feeling stuck. And the deal is that Wednesday, the 17th, is all about choosing between stability, right? Within yourself, by the way. That's not like 3D level stability. It's stability within yourself, like that I've got this concept. Or stubbornness, which is all about refusal, your own refusal, right? And the thing is, resistance is a place of illumination. And so if you're willing to dig in instead of digging in, let's determine what that really actually means. If you're willing to dig in to the nonsense that might be slowing you down, right? Whatever your old story is, your limiting belief, whatever your trauma responses are, if you're willing to dig in instead of digging in your heels, got the distinction there? You will find the way to move from that stubbornness into stability, right, within yourself. On Thursday, the 18th, the Taurus Sun sextiles Neptune, the Taurus Moon sextiles Venus, and then the moon will conjunct Uranus. How exciting. So the thing is, Pluto is our big deal. And so Pluto is very involved in all of our, let's call it, aspects right now. And so there's this aspect of everything that feels like puppeteering today, right? And so there might be a feeling of some kind of weird dance between that attraction and repulsion, right? That is magnetic. Remember that that's always an illusion, right? What it feels like and what it really is are two different things, and that your will supersedes every force on the outside of you, because what we know to be true is that there is no outside. So if you're feeling contrary on Thursday, maybe ask yourself why you're feeling contrary instead of picking a fight without need or reason. Nobody wants to fight, really, right? Find those places where you're being puppeted. On Friday, the 19th, Mercury in retrograde is going to sextile Saturn, and the Taurus moon will sextile Neptune early in the morning. And then at 10:53 in the morning Central Time, we have a new moon. And what that means is that the moon opposes the sun, right? Or I'm so sorry, conjuncts. Hello. The moon conjuncts the sun for a new moon at 28 degrees Taurus. After that, the Taurus moon will sextile Mars, and then the moon moves into Gemini in the afternoon, and then trines Pluto in shortly after that. So here's the deal. Your internal intentions create your 3D claims, right? Now think about that. Your internal intention create your 3D claims, right? Especially on this new moon, which happens to be at the midpoint of Neptune and Mars, and loosely trining Pluto. Again, we're talking about that magnetic pull, right? So you're being asked to swim in the depths of your own long-term soul goals, okay? So this is really, how do you want to feel? How can you create that? How are you in resistance to it? Find your foundations, right? And anything that's not supporting you, or your fundamentals, is definitely the place to do that work. And so, ta-da, right? This is why we talk about this time of new moon, right? Which is about intentions. And intentions are places where you might not be ready to make a claim. So all those places that are creating points of risk to your foundation, those are the places to do your work every single time. On Saturday the 20th, the moon in Gemini will square Saturn, and then Mars moves into Leo. And about 12 short hours after that, that Leo moon is going to oppose Pluto. So just because your destination feels clear to you, running or a running start isn't always warranted, right? If you feel compelled to be in motion, a thing to possibly remember is that awareness of your terrain, right, where you are between here and there, that terrain and your awareness of it is just as important as where you believe you're headed. Because the smallest little rock or the smallest obstacle, unseen or unnoticed, can derail what feels like a great and wonderful big plan. So make sure that just because you say, here I am, I'm going here, right? We talk about the destination isn't the thing, it's the journey, and that's true. But part of the journey is being aware of what's happening as you are in motion. Just I want to say walk with that, so walk with that. And then on Sunday, the Gemini moon is going to sextile Chiron, and then at 2:09 a.m. Central Time, the sun moves into Gemini, and that sun is going to trine Pluto early in the morning, and then square Neptune before the moon moves into Cancer. And after the moon moves into Cancer, she will sextile Pluto late in the evening. So there is a giant overhead T-square. Pluto opposing Mars, squaring Jupiter, right? As we begin Gemini season. So ask yourself, and here's, let's back up. All of these happen at 0 degrees, right? Pluto is at 0 degrees of Aquarius, opposite Mars at 0 degrees of Cancer, squaring Jupiter at 0 degrees Taurus. 0 degree, of course, being a critical degree, right? This is the untried, this is the untested, this is that raw form of energy. So ask yourself, what is the depth of my willingness to create my own transformation, right? What is the depth of my willingness to create my own transformation, right? Are you willing to release your illusions? What is your attachment to what has been, right? What is your attachment to your fears? What is your attachment to your need to guard your heart? Where is your resistance to vulnerability, right? What are your roadblocks to doing whatever it takes to be in full embodiment of your mission, to your total commitment to your purpose, right? So how can you return to that infinite nature of potential, right? Without resisting the urge to overthink it, without resisting the urge to become hypercritical and stop yourself before you even make progress. How can you lean into the everythingness, of where you're going, right? How can you do those things? And all of those answers create, right, that dynamic tension required to make any square a strong foundational point, right, at which you are going to choose to move. And at that 0 degree, there is no reason why you cannot be leaning into the infinite nature of potential and possibility, simply because 0 degrees gives you access to everything without the need to put up roadblocks or guard. Perhaps sometimes it feels a little impulsive, but if we've already put these safeguards into place to come back to home every single time, then we're already in cautious motion. We're already doing what we need to do to get where we're planning to go, knowing that who knows, right? let's look. So on Monday, we've got Death and the King of Cups. So again, we're talking about transformation, right? And we're talking about how we choose our emotional pathways, right? How we move as that sense of home, how we move toward it, what we're willing to allow to be released in service to our highest and best, in service to our own contentment, in service to our own satisfaction and fulfillment, right? What serves me? Where am I leading with compassion? And how am I going to let go of everything that's not that, right? Where am I leading with my creative, impassioned soul? And what am I releasing in terms of what's not necessary? What may have served me in the past, right? We stop, we breathe, we feel. The Death card is all about motion, right? This is not stagnant energy. Death is not A then B. It's the flow. It's the process. So stop, breathe, and feel, right? And then do. Always knowing that you're moving toward home. We're not devaluing our impulse. We are utilizing it as that invitation to move forward. And on Tuesday, we have the Knight of Cups and the Three of Cups. So the Knight of Cups is how we take that emotional energy and move with it, right? How we step into the flow. Three of Cups is celebration. This is shared joy, right? So we're talking about being aware of your own tendencies and to call yourself on your own bullshit that will make or break your progress, right? Even if your triggers are firing, make sure that you understand how to manage them. And so if you need support, right, as you're on your journey, you have it. Understand that you already know this, right? You already understand that when you illuminate the way that you need to move, you're always going to find that you require something, whether that's the nature of flow itself or whether that's some kind of collaboration, whether that's some kind of input from those around you, right? The Three of Cups is about celebrating the process and really witnessing that you're always in motion, even when it feels like you're just standing still. On Wednesday, Four of Swords and the Sun. So Four of Swords is how we come out of something that felt like loss, betrayal, or heartache, right? And it's always about our idea of it. And this is how we've been given a new idea that's going to allow us to shift or change and move closer to healing, right? This is restoration. This is respite. This is taking that breath. And the Sun, of course, is the happiest card in the deck. Can you hear the thunder out there? It's so great. So the Sun is the happiest card in the deck, right? This is full-on joy, manifestation, bliss. This is really just being in your own flag-flying self. And so on Wednesday, we talk about finding clues to all the places that we're stuck, right? And really witnessing your own choices that create stability within yourself or stubbornness in yourself, right? And how are you going to dig in instead of digging in, right? That Three of Swords is a card of digging into what happened. The Four of Swords is a card of digging into why it happened for you. And then, of course, the Sun is witnessing that. Yes, thank you very much. I am illuminated, right? So how are you going to stand in perspective to that? Well, that's your choice. On Thursday, we've got Strength, we've got the Knight of Swords. Again, more motion, right? So we've got this Knight of Cups up here, we've got the Four of Swords here, we've got the Knight of Swords here, showing that your ideas are progressing. And so Strength lends itself to really witnessing that inner battle, that inner discussion, that inner conversation where we're dealing with those things that create places where we're challenged, right? How am I going to make peace with my shadows? How am I going to make peace with my past, right? How am I going to make peace with my wounds? Well, guess what? How I'm going to do that is that I'm going to change my perspective. I'm going to change my ideas. And so if you're witnessing that in that weird dance of attraction and repulsion, instead, perhaps ask yourself why you're picking a fight. Is it really a thing? Or is it just a thing? You get to choose, and that choice is your strength, where you land in relation to your ideas. Remembering that there's nothing outside of you, right? These demons, this fight, it's all inside you. There's none of it is out there. On Friday, we've got the Queen of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. This is our new moon day, right? So I love how this rolls. So again, we've got the Queen of Swords here now, coming after that Knight. The Queen of Swords is all about really witnessing your transformational capacity as it relates to your story. The Queen of Swords is always telling the story of transformation. She's always willing to cut away what is not working, and she harbors absolutely no space for bullshit. None at all. And so the Wheel of Fortune is all about witnessing that as a cycle. Whatever I'm cutting away is fine, because it's going to allow me to move into the next thing with less baggage, with less ballast, right? Unanchored as I move. I let go of my cocoon. I let go of my process. I let go of my thoughts about my cocoon, and I simply step into the sun and dry my wings so that I may fly, right? All of those things. And so this is about really understanding that your internal intentions are creating your 3D claims, right? So your internal process is all about the chrysalis. It's all about the where you are. And the thing is, the quicker and easier you can get rid of that and really swim into the depths of those long-term soul goals that are, how do I want to feel? How am I creating it? And what am I in resistance to? What is my foundation? Anything that's not creating that firm foundation for me, it's part of the bless and release, right? We just say thank you and let it move along, let it fall away. The less resistance we have, the further and more lightly we're able to travel. Speaking of traveling, so on Saturday we've got the Six of Wands, which is victory, and the Eight of Cups, which is a quest, right? So this is moving away from something that isn't in service, right? This is finding something that is emotionally unsatisfying and stepping away from it, right? And so we're moving in the same direction, right, toward victory. Six of Wands is about victory. This is about passion. This is about really witnessing those things that give you reason to step out of bed. And so here we go. Just because your destination feels clear, a running start is not always warranted. Find your terrain, right? And if you can find all those pitfalls, those hazards along the way, if you're moving mindfully and cautiously, this horse is not galloping, right? This is not night energy. This is movement, careful, deliberate, right? We've got this wand echoed right here. This is careful and deliberate movement that's going to get you where you want to go without rushing headlong into something just because it feels exciting, right? We have to weigh, is this right? Am I moving correctly? Those are two sides of the same coin. And on Sunday, we have the Devil. We've got the Page of Pentacles. So the Devil is about attachment, 3D patterns, 3D attachments, 3D relationships, 3D like real life things that you believe have to happen or have to be present in order for you to be happy. And the Devil challenges every single one of those. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Right? Page of Pentacles brings new opportunities into your energy in terms of real world things, right? So this is, what is the depth of your willingness to create your own transformation? Are you willing to release your illusions and your attachments to what has been, to your fears, to your need to guard, to your unwillingness to be vulnerable, right? And so how are you committed to your purpose, right? And if you can return to the infinite nature of potential, Pentacles always want you to say, yes, I am fully resourced and I know that, right? And so if you can lean into the everything and get rid of the anything, right? This is a thing-oriented statement, and this is an everything-oriented statement, right? So these are just two different perspectives. I need this to be happy. You have everything. You are everything. Why are you limiting yourself, right? We talked about as it's Gemini season, and we have that Gemini moon, right, squaring Neptune. The illusion of what's required is being called into play. And as the moon moves into Cancer, risk. Take the risk to move past it. Right? Take the risk to move past it. And presence, right? So absolutely every single statement we have just made comes back to your presence, your willingness to be present, your willingness to assert and claim your presence, stopping, breathing, and feeling, right? Always witnessing that your will supersedes everything, right? Being present in your journey, being deeply willing to ask the hard questions and find the answers and allow the answers and be vulnerable to those answers, right? It's critical. It's key. It's simply the way that the journey moves is your willingness to accept what comes in relation to what is. And so we've got an oracle card, fork in the road, right? I do love this artwork. It's so sweet. All right, let's see what it has to tell us, shall we? Fork in the road. Time to make a decision. Considering the consequences as you prepare to act. Well, no kidding. Owning up to your obligation to make a necessary choice, right? Every choice has a consequence. You've arrived at a fork in the road and you're asked to come to a decision. Will you further your dreams by choosing left or choosing right? Will you take the road less traveled or the one well worn by others who have come before you? This is your choice and yours alone to make. Circumstances and other people will not and cannot, I say, make it for you. Be present and do not avoid this junction, for it's an important crossroads. Take heart, as no matter which path you choose, you will have a rich and meaningful experience. Right? We literally talked about that, right? You can either call yourself on your own bullshit, or you can make or break your own progress. There is no such thing. Your progress is your progress. Your evolution is your evolution, right? So what feels like a fork in the road is simply about how deep are you willing to go in service to yourself, in service to your mission, in service to your purpose, in service to what feels like home as what comes next, right? And so if you're constantly coming back to that, and constantly finding yourself willing to do the work and release those attachments and be mindful and present in your progress, every fork in the road is still for you, right? You can't go wrong. You just can't. So don't miss opportunities at this new moon to really find your soul's goals. I'm sorry that rhymes, but I kind of love it. So, yeah. See how it works. See how it feels. Stop, breathe, and feel before you do, right? Big blessings. Talk to you next week.